Good morning, שפע ברוך והצהרה על ויש פעם של הקדושים והטהורים. We are in parashat Tzav and we are less than a week to Pesach, the seider night, and we'll try and talk about a little from this and a little from that and connect the things with the parashat because nothing is by accident, everything is connected. Says the Torah, וידבר השם אל משה לאמור, צב את אהרון בדרניו לאמור. Order Aaron and his children. זאת תורת העולה. We're talking about the sacrifice of Olah. Korban HaTamid. This was a korban, a sacrifice that was used to be every day, morning and night. He opened all the sacrifices. You're not allowed to sacrifice anything before Korban HaOlah in the morning. And he was ending the work in the temple at the end of the day, and afterwards you couldn't sacrifice anything. In other words, it's opening the day and closing the day. And what is this korban all about? What is this sacrifice all about? What do you think? We have korban chatat. Chatat is something that you do if you do something by mistake, shogeg. So we bring korban chatat on certain sins. And there it's divided between human being and God. Korban HaOlah, everything is sacrificed to God. There's nothing that the man can get, not the Kohen, not the owner of the Korban, nothing. Everything, Olah LaHashem. In other words, what is this Olah about? Machshava. Unbelievable. Thinking. The basic of everything is thinking. If you think and you bring the Korban from the heart, that's the way to bring a sacrifice. But without thinking, this is no sacrifice. Now, what are sacrifices today? We've got no temple. Today, it's the prayers. Shachrit, Mincha, Mariv. And here, see something very interesting. Here, Olah, this is the Olah. Olah al-Mokda al-Mizbeach. It goes on the altar the whole night till the morning. Ve'esh ha-Mizbeach to God. When the fire of the altar will burn. Listen, in it. What does it mean in it? It's on it, not in it. This is the first one. Then we're going on. And a few psukim later, again, the same words. Lo tichbe, you're not allowed to let this fire turn off. It has to burn all time, day and night, the whole year. And by the way, this korban also you bring the whole year around. Yom Kippur, Shabbos, whatever. And bi'er alei hakohanim zav boker ba'oker. And then again, esh tamid tukad al hamizbeach lo tichbe. Here it's al hamizbeach, by the way, on the altar. What's going on here? I think the Shlagato says, this is exactly, the Torah is telling us about Shachrit, Mincha, and Mariv. Because today the sacrifices are the davening, the prayers that we pray morning, and in the afternoon and at night, Mariv. And we can see it from the words. The first one is, we all start, you know, in Judaism, the day starts from the night. So listen. The first one, Olah al-Mokda Mizbeach kol halayla, the whole night. Mariv, ad boker. You can daven Mariv till the morning. And the second one is, unbelievable. באש המזבח תוקעת בו לא תכבה בער עליה כהן עצים בבוקר, in the morning. וערך עליה, morning is shachris. And then the third one, you won't believe it. Look, it's written very clearly. אש תמיד תוקעת על המזבח לא תכבה, וזאת תורת המנחה. מנחה. Now we have to understand, why is it written that the fire should burn in? And the explanation is in the Kohen that brings the sacrifice. Imagine to yourself, we're talking here about something that you do daily. The Korban comes in the morning, comes at the night, every day through the whole year around. Nevertheless, if we're talking about prayers, it's the same story. Every day we daven Shachrit, Mincha, Mariv. What's happening? You're getting used to it. And when you're getting used to it, you're doing it mitzvat anashim melumada. Okay, you're doing like an obligation, yeah, something you have to do. Let's say you do it usually, and you know, there is no intention, no kavana, no machshava, no thinking. And we said Korban Ha'olah is about thinking. And if you don't think, what sacrifice do you bring? That's why it says, you have to make sure that the burning of the enthusiasts, that your fire is inside you, and you're doing the mitzvah, you're doing the prayers with kavanah, with the heart, with machshava, with thoughts. That's the proper way of doing. And it's not only in prayers, it's every mitzvah that you do all the time. And this also brings us to Yetziat Mitzrayim. Yetziat Mitzrayim, same story. Think about it. Every day we're talking, we're mentioning Yetziat Mitzrayim. Zecher Yetziat Mitzrayim. Yetziat Mitzrayim. Yetziat Mitzrayim. So why do we need a whole night sitting and talking about Yetziat Mitzrayim when we all know about Yetziat Mitzrayim? What's the idea? It sounds stupid. But the real truth is, it's like, if we're talking about it, like somebody had a throat ache and he had pain. He went to the doctor gave him pills, telling him you have to take them 3 times a day. Look at all in the instruction, everything. A week later, he gets a phone from the wife. Wow, he cannot even talk, nothing helps. He comes to the house, he says, well, what's happening with you? He said, did you take the pills that I gave you? She said, of course, I was swallowing it every day. You know, it's very hard for me to... I said, swallow? You have to suck them. In order to heal the throat, you have to suck them, that the fluid will go on the throat. And that's exactly the thing. We say, Yetziat Mitzrayim, we swallow it. So then we have one night that we talk the whole night about Yetziat Mitzrayim to understand and realize what it's all about. And this is exactly what the Ben HaChacham, where Barbanim Dibla Torah, there are 4 sons in the Haggadah. There are 4 sons, and one is the wise one, the Chacham. What is he asking? What are the laws and the rules that God told you to do? Wow, this is a clever question. This is a clever guy. This is a Chacham. This is a stupid question. What? If you're Chacham, you should know the laws. You should know all what you have to do. But look what he's saying. Tziva. How is our parasha starting? Vaydaber shel Moshe Tzav et Aaron. Says Tzav. What is Tzav? Order him. Says Rashi. En Tzav el lishon zeruz miyad uledorot. It's rushing you to do it now and for the generations to come. What? Aaron HaKohen needs something to make him do things, and like to tell him that you have to do it and make it quick, make it right, make it in with a purpose. Don't. Wow, what's going on here? But that's exactly what we said. Tziva. When you have something that you do every day, daily, day and night, you get used to it. And when you get used to it, there is no taste, there is no essence, there's nothing in it. No machshava, no thoughts. It's just doing it. That's why you need zeruz. And that's exactly what the seider night. We say, Yetziat Mitzrayim. How do we pray? Same thing. So God tells us, Esh HaMizbeach tukad bo. You are the altar. You bring a sacrifice to God. This should burn in you. And do it with itlahavut, with simcha, with thoughts from the heart. And, you know, to maintain things that you used to is not easy. So let's see, what is the Ben HaChacham asking? The Ben HaChacham is really asking this question, and it's a very clever question. He says, I understand the laws and things. You're talking about Yetziat Mitzrayim the whole night, but you know about it. You know all the laws and the rules. So why do you need this special night? So the answer should be, because you get used to it, and that's why we sit the whole night. But what is the answer? En maftirim achar Pesach afikoman. What does it mean? Afikoman, by the way, is dessert in Aramaic, if I remember right. And we are not allowed to have anything, no dessert, after the afikoman. The afikoman is the matzah we eat in the end of the seider night, and it's zecher lekorban Pesach. This is the sacrifice of Pesach. So, what does it mean? And it's a very clever answer. It's exactly what we said. It says, my dear son, we sit here the whole night, bringing a sacrifice to God, talking about Yetziat Mitzrayim. And we need this taste to go with us through the year. That's why after we eat the Korban Pesach, after we eat Afikoman, we have to stay with the taste, with the machshava, with the thought, with the fire that we burned, the fire that we turned on again and again, putting more into this fire in order to not forget and remember this sacrifice that we bring every day, those prayers that we do every day, those things that we do every day. They are the most important things that we should make sure that we do them properly. By the way, if you look at the world, what is more important? Stuff that is expensive or the cheap stuff? So normally when I ask this question, everybody says, what do you mean? Of course, the expensive stuff. Wrong. Wrong. Diamonds, very expensive. Water, very cheap. Air, doesn't cost. It's everywhere. Now, what is more important? The cheap water, the air for free, or the diamond? You can live without diamonds. You cannot live without air to breathe, without water to drink, without bread to eat. In other words, those things are everywhere. And so why are they cheap? But they are the most important things. And exactly this, don't understand the importance of those things that you have so much. The things that you do all every day. Why do you do them every day? Because they're very important. That's why the first sacrifice of the day is Korban Ha'olah and the last one. That's why we end the seider night with Korban Pesach, with Afikoman. And this brings me to a story, you know, it's not only when we're talking about our relationship with God that we should put the fire into it. It's also zugiyut, couples. After many years that you married, do you put the fire in it? Do you do something for it? That the fire will burn, that the love will stay and will burn. And this is a famous story from the Rav Pinkus Zecher Tzadik Livracha. I found out a few years ago that in the last 3 years of his life, great tzaddik, he used to fly every month for 2 weeks to South Africa. Johannesburg, and he was building there yeshivas, mikvahs, and schools, bringing Yiddish guys to South Africa. For 3 years. Unbelievable. And then, every time that he came back, he bought a present for his children and especially for his wife that was sacrificing. Really, every month, her husband is going for 2 weeks. It's not normal. One day, he's going with one of his students, one of his talmidim. And when they come back, he sees that his talmid goes on and like sits and waits for the plane, says, you don't go to buy something for your wife when you come back? Says, oh, my wife, she's got everything. She doesn't need anything. Everything is okay. Baruch Hashem. Says, now, Pinkus, you're wrong. He says, he cannot convince him anything. He goes and he buys presents as usual. Comes back with a box of presents wrapped very nicely. And the flight is quite long. When the plane lands, he takes one of the boxes and he gives it to his talmid. He says, this you give to your wife. But don't dare to tell her that somebody else bought it. Me or anybody else. You bought it for her. You bring it to her. You know, this Talmid Chacham, years later, is telling, when I gave this present to my wife, she was so happy, so unbelievably made her happy that I understood what Rabbi Pinkus says. And from this day on, whenever I came back from a journey or whatever, I brought a beautiful present to my wife. This is making sure that the fire will burn. We have to think about how to put the fire on, how to make it stay and not go away, because we're used to it, as we said. And when we're talking about the seider night, as we said, the whole idea of seider night is sitting together, passing the message to the next generation. And in the Seder night, we have what we call Gilui Eliyahu. Eliyahu Hanavi comes to us on the Seder night. Eliyahu Hanavi, the one is going to tell us about the Geula, B'ezrat Hashem b'mehera b'yameinu. And there is a very nice story that Adam Sinai brings about a guy that came to Levi Yitzchak Berditchev after Purim. And the rabbi says, how are you? How is everything going? He says, Baruch Hashem, the children, Parnosa, alles gut. And he was a great Ish Chesed, did a lot of charity and good things. He says, but Rabbi, I've got one question. There is something that I really, really want, and I never got it. He says, what is it? He says, Gilui Eliyahu. I want to see Eliyahu Hanavi. Now, every Seder night we open the door for Eliyahu Hanavi, but it doesn't come. I want to see Eliyahu Hanavi. Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev told him, you know what? I'll tell you what to do. You go now to this village, Stangalomba, I don't remember what, and you go to Yankel, and you do the Seder night there with him, and you will see Eliyahu Hanavi. You will have Gilui Eliyahu. He says, wow. He went there a few days before Pesach. He gets there. He asks, where is Yankel? Where does he live? He says, at the end of the Seder in a shade. He comes, he sees this house, a shade, falling apart. Knocking at the door. The door is open. He sees this poor guy, torn clothes. He says, Shulam Aleichem, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev sent me to do the Seder night with you. What are you talking about? What Seder night? I've got no money to do Seder night for me. I've got that. Look at the roof. Water is coming in. No clothes. No proper table. Nothing. Meat. Fish. Wine. I haven't got that. So don't worry. Puts his hand in the pocket and gives him a 500 ruble, whatever it was. A lot of money. Says, you go now. You fix the house. You paint the house. You buy clothes for you and for your children. And for your wife, of course. You buy a new table, new chairs, new cutlery, everything new. And you go to the market. You buy the best wine, the best meat, and the best fish. Everything the best of the best. Wow. Gee, this is good. And he goes and he fixes the house. And the Seder night comes. And they're all sitting together at this beautiful table with the beautiful cutlery, with the unbelievable food. And everybody's dressed, yontiftik. Wow, unbelievable. And they open the door for Eliyahu Hanavi, the Seder night, they're singing and everything is okay, open. And Eliyahu Hanavi doesn't come in. And this guy is waiting and waiting. The whole family already went to sleep. He's waiting till the morning and Eliyahu Hanavi didn't come. So he goes back to the Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev and is asking him, Rabbi, you promised me Gilui Eliyahu. I didn't see Eliyahu. Why? He says, come, my friend. He puts him in front of a mirror. He says, look at the mirror. What do you see in the mirror? He says, what do you mean? I see me. So I want to explain to you something. At that Seder night, you, for this family, you were Eliyahu Hanavi. You are Eliyahu Hanavi. This is Gilui Eliyahu, says the Rav Adam Sinai. Gilui Eliyahu, seeing Eliyahu, is not something physical. It's something spiritual. It's to elevate yourself to the level. And how do you elevate yourself? When you do good. When we are together, sitting and doing good to each other. Making sure that not only we sit at the Seder night, but also the others sit in Seder night. Making sure that we can invite others from the outside to sit together with us and read the Haggadah. And as we said, don't get used to things. Understand that those things that we say everything, like the prayers, Yitziat Mitzrayim, partnership, Zugiyut, everything that we do every day is so important, but we get used to it. Ze Korban HaOlah, that's the most important Korban on the thoughts. Make sure that the fire is there and you make your thought, make the things work at the best way. We have a few days before Pesach. Make sure that the fire will burn and they will make this Seder night a proper Seder night. Make sure who is with you. What can we do that make this Seder night the best of all? And there are so many ideas. One of the ideas every day, every year I give it also again. I saw it in some book. Seder night, you make sure you take the Shabbos clock for the light and you make sure that it turns off in a certain hour. But this year it's different because we have Friday night. You cannot have this Shabbos clock working this way. At least we have a clever, how do you say, Bait Chacham, and you have special thing that you can make sure that on this day, at that hour, it will there. So then you can do it. But if not, there is also a very simple solution. Make sure that one of the rooms is in darkness. Now, what I'm talking about is, we know about Makat Choshech, the darkness plague, and we want to show it in the best way to our children. How do we do this? So we make sure that in a certain time, as we said, dark. Make sure that everybody knows about it, that the balabusta knows about it, will not start a row instead of having a nice seider night. And then you go and buy small presents. And I add to it also, buy, you know, the smilings that shine in the dark. You have to put a lot of light on it, and then when it's dark, it shines. And you spread them all around the room, and you put those shining, smiling on it. Now, when it's light, you don't see them. But when it gets dark, they shine in the darkness. So we have two options. Either we do it if you have a clever Shaon Shabbat, whatever you have. So suddenly there is dark, and it says, children, you know what this is? What happened? It says, this is darkness, the darkness plague. You know what happened in the darkness plague? The Egyptians didn't see anything, but the Jews, they saw all the treasures of the Egyptians. Now go and look around and see if you see something that shines in the dark, and look if you find a treasure. So the children go around and they find us smiling, and they see they've got a small presents, and this way, like, you made it interesting, unbelievable. So as we said, you can do it if you have a clever Shabbos clock, or you just do it in a different room in the darkness. Make sure that during the day you put it under good light, so it will take a lot of light, and you put it there, and then when you come to the plague of darkness, it says, children, go to the next room. See, this is darkness. Now see if you, like the Jews, see the treasures. And they go all around. I did it, and it's unbelievable. Have a beautiful, nice Pesach.